All right. Captain's vlog. Curious Captain's vlog, January 11th. So I am getting the itch to upload these to YouTube. I don't know. I do not hate myself and I am very sensitive, but definitely feeling like a pull to do it. Uh, this is exciting, this stuff. And also, I don't know. I see a lot of people talking on threads, and it's what I'm not seeing that is making me be like, hey, maybe I should put this up there. Just like who the voices are. It's always the same voice. It's always the white dudes, right? And every now and then you get like a brown person, but like it's always white dudes. It's always dudes in general. And I'm just like, there's space. Like I've seen like one or two threads come from someone that's not a dude, and it's just I think it would be nice. All right, we'll see. We're definitely kind of getting the itch. It's also just like I know this. This is my where I come from, the field I come from, of growing a personal brand, of attracting eyes. And one of the biggest problems that I see in the space right now is that AI is allowing, and it's kind of like a joke, is allowing people to make even SaaS products, if you will, just like allowing people to make anything and everything. And the MMR, right, the MRR, monthly recurring revenue, is $0, right? Because there's no audience for these things. People are like really talented and really creative, but there's no demand, right? And so I'm not saying don't scratch the itch with that, but I have a unique, I'll say, positioning in that like I know what comes first, which is the audience. I know how to build the audience, and that comes from content. And that comes from showing yourself, especially now in these times. Hey, by the way, fuck Trump, fuck ICE, fuck the whole fucking administration. But that comes from showing what you're doing and who you are and what you stand for. And obviously, my favorite platform is Instagram, though I haven't posted a bunch on there because it's just like people are literally getting stolen from their houses right now. So I'm kind of using this as a distraction. It definitely feels like very good as a distraction. And speaking of, I know I'm all over the place, but it's my vlog, so I'm gonna do what I want. That guy that I had watched on YouTube, who I don't even know his name, but he had said, sometimes I don't like what he says, some of the stuff, but like his vibe sometimes is a little weird to me. But one of the things he said that I totally agree with is like something's got to give. And we know in general, like you can't just keep adding. You have to do some subtraction, at some point and create space. And I think in the last vlog I talked about this, where it's just like trying to get steps in, trying to exercise. And so like that last time I was like prioritizing that, and I didn't do very much with coding. This week I'm like sitting in this fucking chair for so long, not really doing much with the steps, even though it's finally beautiful outside. So I probably should just flip that and stayed inside more when it was shitty out. And now it's beautiful though. So that's the perks of living in Southern California. But definitely leaning into the coding and doing all this stuff. I'm going to call it coding, AI assisted coding, whatever, web development, whatever you want to call it. I'm leaning into it. I'm doing it. It's definitely a very welcome distraction. And I'm definitely getting the itch to put it on YouTube. And it's so funny that I'm saying this because like, this is what I coach people through. And I don't think I have the, like, I'm so scared it's going to get to the wrong people. I don't know. There's this kind of like, I like hosting it on the website, and it's less of a lift. And I'm not even that I have a YouTube channel right now. My YouTube guy, Joe, and I don't even go check the comments on there. But part of me is like, I don't know. I don't know what the friction is. Definitely in the beginning, it was like, I don't want to have mean comments. But now it's not so much that I don't care. It's that I think it could be helpful for people, and to see someone else doing this journey and taking steps and learning. And I do think that this is the thing. I talk to my friend Kay all the time about it. And he's like, you're one of 5 people I know that's like really diving into this and like seeing the opportunity here. And like, what's on the other side of that opportunity? I don't know. And maybe the monetary side is grim, as we're seeing right now, because this is early phases as well. But it's like, you can build so much, but like, who's buying it? But it's like feels so good in my brain, and there's such a sense of accomplishment, especially coming from a field where like I really help people with like their confidence and finding their voice, and stepping into like all of themselves, which is amazing. But like, it's really nice to be like, and I built this map and now it's done. So that's actually what I've been working on. I was going through the like little self-paced course that Next.js, or I guess React is who put it together. I don't even know. But the first part is like, they're like, if you're not familiar with React, you should take that course. So I did that, and it was phenomenal. It's interesting that I live in this world of like online courses, and they're usually video. It's like this, people talking. And so I went to San Diego, and I was like, okay, I have some time. I'm going to go watch these courses now. these modules, and then they're written, and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta read, which is like they're done so well. If you are looking for a resource, if you want to really get into this, you want to learn about Next.js, you want to learn about React, this is it, and it's free. Like my mind is like, what do you mean, how are you making money? Like, what? It's free and it's so good, it's done so well. I'm actually really happy that I'm learning in this order. I didn't take it first because as it's talking about things, I'm like, I understand this because I have like stumbled and fumbled my way through understanding, HTML versus CSS versus JavaScript, and getting introduced to what a DOM is, or I don't know if it's DOM or DOM. I say DOM, and if maybe someone watching this is like, you're an idiot. Well, yes, I am. But that stands for Document Object Model. And it's just like the tree that's created of like what this page looks like. If you ever go and like inspect a page, you can see it. It doesn't like look like a tree, like in my, like how I would expect, but the folks at Next, at React, they did a really good job of like with images and pictures and like these very like straightforward, very simple images of like what this means and the breakdown of things and understanding what components are. There's definitely some parts that were just a little like were over my head, but at least I can understand like what this thing is. And so the first thing that the first web app that I built was for my sister, and I did that pill tracking app, med tracking app, whatever you want to call it, and that was actually a bigger lift because the next project that I just did for my lady's dad, he wanted he didn't say he wanted this. We were actually driving home from San Diego, and he works for a company that like has territories in New York State, and so he has a map of the different counties, and he wants to be able to color it in so he can be like, hey, actually this is how we think the counties should be broken up. And she had done this for him before using like Adobe Photoshop or something, and I was like, oh, that's like really annoying. You have to like outline each of the boundaries within that and mark that'd be really fucking annoying. But as she's saying, he's like asking for a new map, and she was like, well, you could just like color it in by hand, like it's probably the easiest because like the actual thing is like really annoying. And I was just like, I can probably AI assist code this, vibe code this, whatever you want to call it. But I wanted to get through my course first, and I did that yesterday, and then I threw this thing together in, I don't know, a few hours, and very heavily assisted by ChatGPT. And I find that I actually like that better than being inside of Cursor. I use Cursor as the IDE, right? Integrated Development, what is it called? IDE. Let's look at it. I know what it is. I don't know all the like what it stands for. Integrated. Yes. Stands for, I see it here, but I don't see it on this thing. It stands, if you're watching this, you're like, you're screaming at the screen right now. Integrated development. Why is it not showing? I hate when you use notes and then like, I see it in the, the search, but it's not actually taking me to where it is in the actual like notes window. I'm like, I see it in the search thing, but I needed it to show on this actual page. So integrated development environment, that's the E. I'm like, area, integrated development environment. Thank you. So I like using Cursor for that, but I don't necessarily love using the actual agent. And the part of that's because I guess I'm cheap, and I'm like, is this going to be $1 million? Like, how is this working? And like, I also want to learn it, which you can do in the ask section, but it kind of is like a little slow in Cursor. So I do a lot of it inside of chat, and I'm like moving it around, and I'd have no problem being like, here's the whole file. It feels, I don't like the feeling of just saying, make this, change this, and like not knowing what it's changing. Yes, you can put it in ask first and it'll show you what needs to be done, but also it's like so small. Like, yes, I could change some things. I have 2 screens running. I can like make the size different, but for whatever reason, I really do like what happens in chat, and I like the copy and moving things around, and kind of being more involved and more hands-on. And it's like telling me what to do. And I'm like, where does this go? Am I replacing this? Why am I doing this? So no, I could not generate the code myself, but I understand like the parts, how it's going together. And so I built this map, interactive map that you can color in and zoom in, and you can color it in. And so that was really cool. Funny, I did the PRD, right? The project requirement document inside of chat. And that's how I like to plan things and be like, hey, I want to do this thing. what would it entail? Can you give me the commands, give me the prompt that I would need to put into Cursor if I wanted to have this one shot it? And you go back and forth, and I use Whisperflow. I fucking love Whisperflow. It's like my favorite thing in the world. So I go back and forth and I'm talking with it, and it gave me all the things, and we go and try to make this inside of Cursor, and you need like a map. It's not like going to make the map. You have to have this SVG image somewhere. So that was the first thing I was like, where am I getting this map from? And so it gave me one, and I had a feeling, I was like, I feel like this whole thing is going to get, like, it's not like each individual, county is outlined. And not that I could see that it wasn't, but I was just like, I just have a feeling that it's not. Like, I get the files are in the computer. The data for that image is like inside. But I was like, I just have a feeling. And that's what ended up happening. Like, you click and like the whole map would go, and it was just like not working. But I did learn about like mapping of things and IDs and just like got exposed to it. And I was like, well, we're going to do it completely different. And what was interesting was I then basically told chat, and get frustrated because like yell at it. And I'm telling it, I'm like, this is not fucking working. I need like a whole new thing. And it was just like, gave me code for basically an entire page, and it was just like, use this. And then I put that in I added that to the file, which, side note, really cool, just stumbling through things, understanding that you can work through terminal and work the command line interface, or you can like just be in the actual folders on the computer, your choice. I have no problem working with either. But I'm like, okay, very easily add this file, or you can do it inside of Cursor as well, doesn't matter. And then I go and visit I didn't even need to spin up a server, because it was just like an HTML page first. And then I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, this is it. This is the thing. What the fuck just happened? This is the thing. Like, how did this happy mistake? So basically from there, got to work backwards and understand, like, okay, removing pages from, a web app that you've made, and being like, okay, I don't need this. And a nice, I don't want to say it's a workaround, but a nice way to do this, as instructed by ChatGPT, it was like, make an underscore, an ignore underscore folder, and then move the files into there, and then reload. And if it's still working, then you don't need that. So getting familiar with that and removing things. Also understanding, and maybe this is stupid, I was like, does Next live on the computer? Because when you vibe code things, if you're just like, hey, build this thing, I want to use this framework, it just does all of those things for you. And it'll just run Next or install Next within the project. And you don't realize that, because that's what I did for the first one. And I was like, okay, wow, it's like great. Even when I'm watching these courses from before. And so now doing this one and being able to ask ChatGPT, and I was like, oh, Next gets installed for that actual project. And if I want to do, there was basically another thing that I tried that did not work, which was like HTML to, basically I was trying to get a screenshot of the map so that would be exported. I don't remember what the actual name was. Didn't work. But understanding, like, these things get installed on a per project basis. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm understanding. And part of that, I started to get that understanding as I'm going through the course for React. React starts to go into Next and expose you to that. And it was talking about, like, basically calling these files and pulling these files that lived elsewhere. And then being like, well, if you actually are going to use Next and you install this library, like, you don't need to go pull it from somewhere else. And I was like, okay, I'm trying to understand this. And that's when I was like, wait, is it living on the computer? The file's in the computer? Where am I? And understanding, okay, cool, it is per project. And that when you have, this is why you use these frameworks, because it basically allows for this magic to happen. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, again, it is so much about exposure and like build the things break. Familiarity with Git and, like, Git commits or Git inits and these little things that you just learn from, like, doing them over and over again and making the same mistake, and Git ignore. So this actually was much easier this time, way easier than the first one. But also just an easier build. Like, it wasn't as complex. There's no library, no database or anything. There was no auth that needed to go. It's just like, hey, this thing lives, color it in, save or export the actual image, and then you're good to go. And I did have a back and forth with Chad about this. And I think that that's something as well to highlight, is that there's like a zillion ways to do things. And so if you are just like purely vibe coding, you're just like, change this. it's going to do it in this way, but there may be a different way to do it that doesn't fuck this thing up, or a different way to do it that's better, or, and that's the conversations that, yeah, I guess, yes, you can be having inside of Cursor. It just feels slow. So I like to use ChatGPT and just discuss with it and be like, hey, last time we did this, that broke that. And actually, all we need to do is I just want to zoom in this thing. I feel like all this whole stuff that you're giving me is too much, and I don't need to do all of that. And it'll go back and forth, right? Probabilistic model. So that has been great, and not feeling like, oh my God, if I change something, it's going to break. Right? I still don't feel comfortable with the way that the interface looks inside of Cursor when it's like added this, subtracted this. Like, it does a lot for me. And so what I tend to always do is just have a plain text file, a plain text document, plain text file open, and I like just copy the code from that, the copy of the working code, and I paste it there. I have it on different screens, and I get it. There's like better ways to do it, but this is what works for me. I take that, and so this is why I always have a fallback, right? Where it's like, okay, if this has changed so many things, because like that's what happens. It's like I want to move this, but then do this, and you're like moving and changing so many different things. I get it. That's kind of like, it has track changes essentially inside of Cursor, right? But it doesn't. It's hard for me to see it. So instead, I have no problem just being like, and I'm reverting back to the thing that I know worked. And then we'll test it again on localhost and see, and we're good to go. So just the repetition and the familiarity that is coming from that repetition, I'm really excited about. Looking at my little notes here of what I've been doing. I'm going to go downstairs and lift, but I was like, go and record this video first. I'm really excited and really happy. I'm really proud of the web app that got made. Is there some feeling of this, like, how do I make money from this? Yes, right? Like, I spun this thing up for him. Like, even if you were to do it for multiple people, like, how much are you going to charge for this thing? It's like, there's definitely this thought. But I'm just trusting the process of learning the new skill and seeing what comes about. As I watch and read things on Thread, I'm like seeing the possibility for overlap in terms of my skill set from teaching people how to create a personal brand. And that's when I'm kind of like, with this being like, I should put this on YouTube and look to lean into the personal brand that maybe gets built behind these. There's definitely some hesitation because YouTube isn't my platform. I got a bunch of videos up on there. They're all my podcasts from they're my podcast, one of my other podcasts, my Show on the Mic podcast. I don't even have a YouTube for ChatGPT Curious. But I feel like I like this better. The ChatGPT Curious, I really do like as just it being the blog and the audio only podcast. But definitely feeling pulled towards it. Definitely feeling like, what the fuck am I going to do with this? Like, I want this to be the thing that I go into next and pivot into and move away from, purely online business. How I do that, what that looks like, I have no idea. And it's just a matter of continuing to ask for use cases and being like, hey, who has a problem? And that's business 101, right? You need demand first. We got a ton of supply, we need demand. And seeing like, hey, folks, what can I help you with? What can I build and what can I learn? Because it's fun, and that's actually just how business works. So looking here, the course, definitely check that out. Meet the new web app, getting the reps. The order of learning things, again, like I said, really helpful because playing around and learning about the DOM, the DOM, whatever before, and the JavaScript is manipulating that. I also learned about imperative programming versus declarative programming, which is really cool, an understanding of just declarative is like basically you say what the outcome is supposed to be, and then you let shit figure itself out. Whereas imperative is like you're going to walk through every single step. It's supposed to look like this, this, and this. And the course actually takes you through that. And it takes you through imperative first, where you're like stating everything. And then you start to see like, man, this is going to be really tedious. And could be problem-some. Yeah, we're going to go with that. It creates a lot of code. And so then you see why React was created and what React is. You learn about components. And you're like, hey, it's basically just functions. It's JavaScript functions. And it's someone was really fucking smart, right? Whoever the dude was at Meta that was like, hey, we can manipulate this language that has flexibility in it such that we can state what the outcome should be and have what's returned just be data, and then render that data, that information as the interface. And I'm like, wow, that's like really, really, really smart. Like, wow. But learning that and like stumbling through that, and again leaning on AI so heavily and being like, when I say AI, leaning on ChatGPT and be like, what is this? What does it mean? Is it a file? What does language mean? Like Portuguese? No, it's not like that at all. It's like files that can only be read by certain types of file readers or parsers. And like, where does it get read? Okay, understanding and going back and forth, and just being able to again use Whisperflow and just speak directly to the computer, to AI, and be like, this is what I'm hearing? Does this analogy work? Is it sound? And it's been really, really good. Is there definitely like this feeling of fragility? Like if AI went away, I'd be like, I don't know shit about shit. I can't build shit. Like, so if you're, people are coders and they actually know what the fuck they're doing, like you feel like your job is so safe. Do I think AI is going anywhere? No, but like, there's definitely this. I have this part of me with my physical therapy background that I'm like, you cannot take that away from me. I'm like, they'll never take our freedom, whatever the fuck the line is. I'm like, I know this stuff. It doesn't matter if there's no resources on it. It's also not like as like memorize this, but like I'm in this phase of learning the things, and also like AI is doing so much. It's the one that's generating the code. So it's just like, yeah, I can do this, but like if that goes away, I'm fucked. And feeling that is definitely unsettling. But the alternative is to just scroll endlessly and watch horrendous videos of those piece of shit ICE agents being little bitches and terrorizing people. And I'm like, that is not, I'll do a little bit of that, but like I got to like step away and then I'm go hop into the computer. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been up to. Thinking I'm going to put this on YouTube. If you see it on there, that means I put it on there, and maybe be nice and leave a nice comment, or don't. It's fine. You're an adult. Agency is sexy. Agency and autonomy, they're sexy. But that is where I'm at. It's actually really cool to be on Threads. Last thing, it's actually cool to be on Threads and just see people writing stuff and to like be more able to understand things. There's definitely some things that keep coming up that I'm like, I can't quite wrap my head around. APIs, REST API, like I just like can't really quite like grasp it. I'm like, what does that mean? Like I read a thing, listened to a thing, and I'm like, I understand what API is, but MCPs, I'm like, okay. So there's always a million things, but it's cool to be on social media and be like, I understand what you're saying, and people saying what their stack is, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm using, right? I'm using Next, I'm using React, Supabase, if we're gonna need a database. I mean, what else is there that really needs to be? Obviously, for my other website, and like I'm using WordPress, I'm starting to understand more what like a headless WordPress is, and just like understand these concepts and what that means and where that takes me. I don't know, but I'm gonna just keep walking. Right, go as far as you can see, and when you get there, you will see farther. Okay, Rupert, is that it? What do you think? Yeah, that's it. Appreciate you listening, and we'll see you on the next Curious Captain's vlog. Maestro out.